Nervous. I'm nervous before every single game.
Yeah.
But as soon as I step on the court, get the ball, feel the ball a little bit, get a stop, I feel good and I'm ready to go.
Good job by Henry, not giving to Maxey any room at all.
Look at him. He's on a defensive stance. Oh, wow.
Oh!
Oh, are you serious? Are you serious? Come on, Maxey. You're a freshman. This is your first game. Are you for real?
You've had some huge games, kind of in the biggest moments so far, dating back to Michigan State, Louisville, and then Georgia as well. What is it about you that it seems like you show up in the biggest moments?
I feel like it's a testimony to my grind, getting up early, 6 a.m. workouts with my dad and just on my own. I feel like if you grind, you reap the benefits of it. So,
and for people watching this who maybe don't know much about you as a person, as a player, how would you describe yourself?
I like to have fun on the court. Basketball is fun. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm gonna go out there and have fun every single time. I mean, win, lose, or draw, playing basketball is fun, and I like being out there with my friends.
So we're going to go through some of your film here, break down some areas where you've been really good, had a lot of success, and then maybe some areas where you still have room for growth, and just kind of talk through it, get your take on some of this. So starting off here, maybe a game you don't want to remember, the Evansville game, but one thing that stands out about you to scouts, to players, is your ability to get up and down in transition. Has that always been a big part of your game?
It has. Transition is a very, very big part, especially here at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
We're a very fast team, and getting up and down the court, scoring, and even transition defense is a big part of what we do here.
Yeah, and a lot of the times it's you sprinting the lanes, playing off of Hagens and guys like that, but I think your ability to handle it in transition and go get your own is a big part of what makes you intriguing, and a lot of that starts with your ability to just kind of stop on a dime here, right? Like nobody picks you up in semi-transition, rise and fire, three ball. The NBA has evolved so much into guys who can shoot off the dribble with range in transition, and you've been able to do that. And then, so you can see the impact of that here. So what do you see here as you're getting downhill?
Right now I'm getting downhill, and there's a lot of space on both sides. I don't know who's over here in my left corner. I can't see, but I'll probably try to get inside or in the outside of the defense and try to get to the lane and make a play.
Yeah, because you're a threat to pull up there, right? Then they have to pick up points much earlier,
right?
And then you do a great job of playing what I would call slow to fast or high to low. You have that hang dribble in your game, blow by, get into the body, doing a great job of drawing contact so far this season. And then, again, similar play here. What do you remember about this?
I remember I had a big on me, and our coach said he doesn't like to move his feet a lot. So I knew coming down that if I give him a little hesitation, I can get to the rack.
A little stop and start, and then you did a great job getting the other side of the rim, a little bit of English finish. Impressive stuff. So far this season, you've kind of been a mix of playing on the ball, playing off the ball. I think like 30% of your possessions have been out of spot-ups, 25 have been pick and roll. Where do you see yourself, I guess, as a player? Do you see yourself as an on-ball guy down the road, or?
Well, honestly, I think the game has changed so much to where it's like multiple times where it's multiple guards on the court. So in our instance, we have a lot of times where it's 3 guards on the court, 3 point guards on the court. So whatever the coach really needs me to do, if they want me to play on the ball, I really can do that. But here I've been playing a lot of off the ball because Ash is really good on the ball as well. So it doesn't really matter to me. I just like being on the court, being a basketball player. And
you're watching, like you said, OKC is a team that comes to mind right there, playing Chris Paul, Shea, right, and then Dennis Schroeder, and all guys who are, don't have great size other than Shea. You're looking at some of your off-ball stuff earlier. I think the key for you to be impactful off the ball is making shots off the catch, right?
Right.
Why do you think it's maybe been an up and down season for you shooting the ball so far?
Maybe just because the transition, because in high school I played mostly on the ball. But here, I just been working on catch and shoot a lot because Ashton creates for me sometimes, or in this situation, I think Nate's going to create a shot for me. I don't remember. But, it's been up and down, but I feel like I'm way better shooting. My percentages show.
No, for sure. And that first game of the season, you could see you looked like a guy who's, shooting 35, 40% from three potentially. Your hands and feet are ready, great rhythm, great balance, deep 3-ball. It seems like you almost shoot it better from NBA range than from college range. I don't know if that's the nature of your release or what. But as the season's gone along, right, there's been a little bit more of this. So what should you do here?
Probably here I can get to the lane, probably get a pull-up jump shot. I don't know what ended up happening here.
Or one thing I would say is, like, if you're going to be a threat from three, like, space to three, catch and fire if they're going to give you space,
right.
Especially in today's day and age. Like, I love how you get downhill, you get to the rim, but sometimes I think you're starting to turn down open catch-and-shoot threes. Like even here, you remember this play?
Yes.
And then you come off.
Okay, yeah, and I'm going to drive it, try to pass it.
And almost like just being able to read and react how much space you have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're a shooter, then pop to three and let it fly.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's one thing I would say, but and then obviously you could have converted the drop off there, but when your hands and feet are ready and you're fully engaged like this is great shot preparation. Hands, feet ready, not even a great pass, you're able to adjust on the hop. Boom. Like you said, I think you're a way better shooter than your percentages suggest. I don't have any doubts that you'll be a guy who makes shots off the catch at the next level. And then when you're making shots, they have to close out hard, right? So what do you see here? Do you remember this?
Yes, I think Ant's going to come down really hard on me. I'm going to drive it and pass it to either EJ or Nick. Try to get a finish. But he had to close down really hard because he knows I'm a threat. Exactly.
So that's the key. If they're going to start running you off the line, then you can play make, you can use your finishes, and then you've been operating a little bit off pin downs as well this year. What do you see here?
He's trying to fight me over, so he can go over the top and I'm trying to fade back.
And they've been doing that a lot. They've been shooting the gap like that, which has allowed you to kind of take one dribble, either a floater, a pull-up. So if you're making shots and they have to chase you, then it creates offense like that.
Right.
So that's allowed you to be very dynamic off the ball. Now, in ball screens, okay, I think, like I said, 25% of your offense has been in pick and roll, and then you're in like the 85th percentile or something in scoring efficiency. So you've been really good scoring the ball in ball screens. And this is Nike Hoop Summit. We were there all week. We were there at the game. And at this level, you were able to just kind of reject and go by guys, right?
Right.
You love rejecting ball screens. With that right-to-left crossover, you do a great job of feeling contact, finishing through contact. But as you continue to raise levels, right, in the NBA and college, a lot of it is going to depend on the type of shooter you can be when they go under screens. So here, like case in point, got to be a threat.
Right.
Because if they're able to sag, then you become much more predictable as a driver.
Right.
So here they're going to bump in under you. Maybe that's a little deep, but if you're knocking down those shots, then that's going to set the table for everything else.
Facts.
And you've proven you can do that, right? Like here we are, McDonald's All-American, deep pull-up. Whether it's an emergency switch or they're fighting under, you've shown you have range there. And then just playing off of that, I love this. I love your rhythm getting into this. You seem really comfortable pulling up off the dribble in mid-range. Has that always been a part of your game?
It hasn't,
No.
honestly. No, well, my dad used to always tell me I'm either shooting threes or going all the way to the rim, and I had to find a in-between game. And I really shout out to my friend Chris Harris Jr. at Oklahoma State. He really taught me this because he does it all the time. He was just saying, like, you always see the defense on the pick and rolls. He's always backing up sometimes on drops. So you can just rise over him and shoot it because he can't contest a shot.
And people say, the mid-range is dead. Don't shoot the mid-range. But if you're a ball screen scorer, you need that in your game.
No, seriously.
Especially against these drops, right? Who do you think are some of the best pick-and-roll scoring guards in the NBA?
Ooh, I feel like I'm gonna say Lou Will is really good.
Okay, yeah.
Because he gets to his mid range a lot. I watched a lot of film on that, and honestly, lately I've been watching a little bit of Drew Holiday.
Okay,
because he's been really good too as of late.
Yeah, really defends too.
Right.
Yeah, Lou Will, get him going left. It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So kind of part of the progression here. So if they have to fight over now, right? So say you're making them. They have to respect you from three. Then they have to fight over. You got this drop. And I love the little rhythm dribble you come down here with because that freezes that big. He thinks you might be getting downhill. Maybe you have the pocket pass.
Right.
Keep him guessing in the pocket, right? And then just a quick rise and fire. Boom. We've seen you do it going left. We've seen you do it going right. So that's kind of the next piece of the puzzle. And it's really all about what you're going to do in these type of situations, like your reads, your options. What do you see here as you're coming off? Like what are your options here, I guess, as you would go through?
As of right now, Big James is probably going to roll. So I'll probably try to freeze the defender if I have a floater or a lob. So I think I end up shooting a floater right here. But if he had stepped up a little more, I would have threw the lob to James.
Right, perfect. And you hit him with a little bit of a hesitation dribble and then the kind of an unorthodox float game. But you've been dropping off floaters all year. We'll get into that shortly. But, being able to score in those mid-range spots, like we said, is really important. And then you've been a bulldog getting downhill this season, living at the free throw line. It seems like you have a knack for initiating contact and getting into the body of bigs. Has that always been, like, see here, he's a big dude.
Right.
And you go right through him. You're able to extend with the left. You've always been physical like that?
A little bit, but Coach Cal's really been on me this year about clipping the defender and seeking out contact. He says I have a big frame, a big body that I can use, and he's really taught me a lot, which is one right here. He was telling me I was avoiding contact in this game, and I just felt like I got a little hesitation. I feel like I went straight through his body.
Yeah, it's time to get into his body, and you're shooting, I think, 5 free throws per 40 minutes. So one thing I would say is maybe adding a little bit more versatility to like your change of pace, your change of direction. Right. So you see a lot of the best guards in this situation, like they're trying to ice it, right? They're trying to keep it to the sideline. The best at this is Chris Paul, the snake dribble.
Right.
Have you studied much of that?
Coach KP has been telling me sometimes, even in games like last game, there was a time where the big dropped, and instead of what I did, I think I was trying to pull up, he told me to snake it and like try to freeze him and get downhill, which I think this would be another opportunity, but I don't know what I did here.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect situation. And snake it back to the middle. Right. You can keep that guard defender on your back. Right. You can drag this big out, maybe into a switch. Then you have a mismatch with Nick. There are a lot of options when you get the ball back to the middle of the floor. Instead, you just kind of come off and bail him out with the floater that he blocks. So maybe it's, even if you're not going to snake it, maybe it's coming downhill, giving him a little hezzy, and then blow by. Like finding more ways to manipulate the defense out of pick and roll, because sometimes you're so energetic and you're go, go, go. Right. And sometimes it's like finding that balance between slow and fast. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Is that something you think about?
Yeah, it is. My dad's always told me, because he's a big part of my life, he always told me, try to not go all 90% all the time. Try to make different speed. And Coach Kyle's been on me a lot, too. He taught me, he said go speed and then poise. Yes. So just trying to change pace. It's been a big struggle in my game, but I'm trying to make it a strength.
No, for sure. And that's just, one example there. And then, okay, so we've talked about transition. We've talked about ball screens versus drops. They're trying to ice you. You're going to see a lot of switches at the next level. Right. And you have a big switch thrown in you here. You remember this?
I do. This was terrible.
What happened?
I did not make a good decision here. It was just bad. I didn't set him up. I didn't know wasn't aware of the shot clock either. And I was really just trying to get a shot up at that point. But that was terrible.
Well, I think a big part of it, again, like we touched on, is being a threat to pull up. And when you're a threat to pull up, you remember this.
Right.
Talk me through this play. I was at this game, and you showed out.
So, really, at this point in the game, I was trying not to settle, but I ripped, and he kind of bumped me off my rip. So I was thinking I'll back it out and see if he's going to drop his foot, and if he drops, I'm going to shoot it. Was
this the biggest shot of your career?
I think so. Just being on a stage, first game of the year at Madison Square Garden, really wanted to win this game, and it was, it was a big game. I just trust my training. I knew I was going to knock it down. So
were you not? How are you with nerves? Because every GM was there. Madison Square Garden, first game of the season.
Nervous. I'm nervous before every single game.
Yeah.
But as soon as I step on the court, get the ball, feel the ball a little bit, get a stop, I feel good and I'm ready to go. I just trust my training. You don't get up at 6 a.m. in the morning for no reason. So that's about it.
Yeah, and maybe this isn't a shot you always want to live off of, right? It's a tough, deep pull up, but again, if you're able to make those shots versus switches, and you're able to make, hesitation pull-ups, then you can see the effect here. Then they're going to have to play you, and then you got that little hang dribble. What do you see here?
I knew I had that little hezzy in my game, so I did a little hang dribble, and if he came up, I was going to go blow right by him. I know they said he wasn't going to be moving his feet a lot this game, so I was going to try to go as soon as I had a chance, go right past him.
And you can see his feet all out of whack, blow by, and then I love that 1-2 slowdown. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but with the lefty floater, that's big time. And then I think just adding a little bit more counters to your game is one thing I would say. Like here you have Jordan Nwora on the switch, and you go for the little right to left sweeping crossover and then try to get into the body. You do a great job of drawing contact, but maybe it's a spin back to your left, or maybe it's a behind the back move. Just more counters to when they take your first move away. Right. Because at the college level, you can use your powerful body, but at the NBA level, those dudes are long and powerful too. And here you do this is a great example of they're going to take away your first and just a simple little behind the back gets you right to the front of the rim. That's big time. So one thing that stood out to me is your finesse around the rim. Floaters, like from everywhere.
Right.
Is that new or no?
I think I kind of learned that a little bit last year.
Yeah.
Working out with Tim Martin and Rod Clark before he got the job. It's hard, going over 7-footers and trying to go into them all the time. Sometimes you can get body contact and try to get and ones, but preserve your body, you can get in there and you can float right over them sometimes and just use certain different spots of the glass. It's 4 corners on the glass and try to use them for different finishes.
So when you're getting downhill here, the reject, the cross, what are you looking at? So you just said the 4 corners on the glass, you're looking at a specific spot?
Right.
I like how chin to the rim, like perfect technique.
This is going to be try to get as high as I can off that left corner because I don't want him to get anywhere near this hard to block it. So I just went, Rocket kind of bumped me a little bit. I thought I was going to get a little foul, and I went high glass.
And easy touch, impressive. And then we've seen it off 1 foot, off 2 feet. Like, this is from deep, from the elbows. Do you practice these?
I do. I just got done working out and practicing these same floaters. It's funny.
2 feet, 1 foot, everything.
Yep, I do 2 feet, and then I do 1 foot. Then I do off a move, like a little hop step. Just different ways, different counters.
And this, I mean, I don't know if Coach Cal wants you taking this shot every time, but still, you have an ability to make tough shots from all different angles off of either foot, too. Like, here's the right foot, right hand. That's going to come in handy, obviously, at the NBA level. And I want to touch on this here because you're kind of unorthodox around the rim. You jump off your right foot a lot.
Right.
Are you left-handed naturally? No.
So when I was younger, I used to shoot with my left hand.
Yeah?
But my dad made me switch to my right hand.
Really?
Yeah. But I actually, really reason why I jump off my right leg so much, not as much as I used to, is because I broke my ankle like my freshman year in high school. So I just learned to be explosive off my right leg. So now my left leg's coming back. So now it's equal balance. But I just got used to it.
Yeah, one guy who does that really well is Josh Hart. I don't know if you watch him much in the NBA or in college, but he's a guy who's always jumping off his right and taking hits and has really good body control. And here out of the triple threat, you love that slow to fast rip over to freeze the defender, and then you can see the impact of just taking off on your right and then extending at the rim. Nobody's able to get to that because you get it up on the glass so quickly. That's an impressive move. And then here against Ant-Man, blow by. Look at your footwork here. And because that same foot, same hand, you're able to shield your defender. Look at that. Get into his body. He can't get to it. It's little things like that. So you practice all this.
Timing. If you do same foot, same hand, it's hard for a shot blocker to time it.
Yeah.
So when you're coming and I dribble and I try to go right hand, right foot, it's just hard. I mean, practicing against this kid makes it a lot.
Yeah, Nick Richards.
Practicing against Nick, he's a very good shot blocker. So I had to, make various finishes, and it's been really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. And Shea is another guy who's really good.
He's really good with that.
Super crafty around the rim. This is one of my favorites also. You have this slowdown step, I would call it. Like Luka Doncic. Guys who aren't super above the rim athletes tend to have this. So you're getting downhill to your left. Look at this big step, okay? Huge step, and then the slowdown so he flies by and you're able to get to that shot. Is that, you're cognizant of that when you practice this also?
Yeah, I used to do that a lot in high school.
Yeah.
My dad didn't really like it, but I mean, I'm moving so fast, and then my ability, like you said, to slow down and actually kind of fade back. I don't know where I got it from, but I've been practicing it since I was in high school.
I think a lot of times when you're not, not to say you are a good athlete, but when you're used to playing against really athletic guys and you have to find ways to get your shot off. Yeah, I've seen guys like Doncic, who was maybe not seen as the most explosive guy, use moves like that. And then here again, very similar. I love how you get into the body of your defender. You see your body control, you're cutting angles really well, then that huge step slows you down, draw the foul. So those little nuances are going to be really important. So that's you scoring the ball, right? Now we'll dive into your decision-making a little bit, your playmaking for others, which I think has been really good some games and still has room to improve.
Right.
How do you think you've been as kind of a floor general when you've been put in those spots?
I've been okay. I can do a lot better, like you said, and it's been times where Coach Cal's been on me. He's been on me a lot about this because he thinks I can do really a lot better and be in the same kind of level as Ashton.
Yeah, because the scouts who say obviously you're high on our board. People have known you for a long time. Some people will say, "Oh, he's a 6'3" two guard,"
right?
And I think they're still want to figure out are you a guy who they can hand the keys to and say run our offense? And I've seen that you can, but there are some plays here that show you have room to improve. So here, quickly, okay, he knocks the ball away. The chase down basically gets the steal. So if I'm you, my head's up, and I'm like,
get it back to him.
Yeah, let me reward him,
yep.
right? Quick hit ahead, you know what I mean? Because what is that DJ or no? I don't know who that is, but there's nobody on him right now.
Right.
Okay. Quick hit ahead, move the ball up the floor, and this is one of those moments where you're so eager to like go get it,
yeah.
right? Which is because you're great at that, and nobody really stops the ball, but you barrel right into help defense for the charge.
Facts.
Here's a play where I think you did a great job of exactly that. So kind of the opposite. You sprint the lane, head up, you're moving, but you're still under control. And then you find Higgins for an open three, draws the foul. Like, guys are going to love playing with you if you're playing that style. Here's earlier in the season, Evansville. What's maybe a read here?
Keon for the lob.
Yep.
Or the bounce pass, either.
Right. Keon for the lob. Tough contested shot at the rim. But season goes along. You're settling in. You're learning. Almost the same play. Keon for the lob. Perfect.
Got him.
Natural progression, right? And then this is one of my favorites. So, really simple basketball, right? You're sprinting the lane. You see the target, hit ahead, space, three. Just like quick decisions.
Right.
That's what teams love to see. That's big-time stuff. So you had 8 assists against Georgia. You played a really good game overall. I do think there were still some areas where you had open teammates. Remember this?
Me and Quick talked about this. He drifted corner.
Yep.
I should have hit him on the corner automatically.
I do understand at first, though, like, you know, you feel like you got a lane.
Right.
He does a nice job recovering.
Right.
But, yeah, maybe it's just a lefty push pass.
Easy. Yeah.
Easy read.
And he's going to hit that 9 times out of 10.
Great,
yeah, he's going
right?
to hit that. I have ultimate faith in him hitting that. I should have passed that to him. We talked about that one.
Wait, he was hot?
No. He wasn't hot. He just said, I was over in the corner. I said,
yeah.
I got you.
Well, but I do love the energy to keep the play alive. That's a huge reason we're so high on you is your motor, your energy. Here's another very similar situation. You're getting downhill going right, and Ant-Man is in position, but I think as you continue to grow, maybe it's probing along the baseline. Maybe it's, draw him a one-handed hit to Keon Brooks in the corner.
Right.
Just finding your spacing here isn't great, but finding ways to manipulate the defense.
Right.
And you'll continue to improve there. I know that's a very makeable shot for you. I don't know if you've seen this. Here's one other one. So, a lot of dudes in the paint.
It is. Well, so honestly, my first thought right here is when EJ was cutting, I was going to throw him the lob.
Yep.
But then again, I should have came to a jump stop, and I didn't. And then I kind of got like in the mix between I'm throwing the lob, and then I ran him over. That was a bad play.
But I think maybe Quickly's in the corner. I don't know. It's hard to see him with this angle. But, yeah, teams have been loading up for you a little bit because, you like to get downhill, and they've been waiting for you. But here's a great example of kind of mirroring that play, right? You reject. You see that he's helping up on you. He's going to sink down inside of Nick.
Johnny Juzang.
Bam. And Johnny Juzang's knockdown.
He's hitting that.
Who's the best shooter on this team?
Me being a competitor, I'm going to say me.
Yeah.
But other than that, Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah.
But we really have some really good shooters. Johnny Juzang can shoot the ball. Nate can really shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And I think it's finally, starting to click with the team that we're, knocking down shots.
Even Nick is 15
he can shoot
feet.
it, man. Yeah.
Free throw strokes looking better.
We do a 5-minute shooting drill, and he hits like 70 of those mid-range shots.
Really?
Yeah, he hits them.
So you saw that, and then playing more off the ball, just this read and react. This is perfect. Attack, they're going to run you off. You've been really good at these lobs, these little drop-offs, the lobs, impressive stuff. So kind of the last piece of the puzzle on the offensive end is playmaking out of pick and roll. This, like we talked about, your pace, changing speeds. Do you remember this play?
Yes. I think I will dribble too long or something like that and dribble like all the way to the baseline, almost out of bounds.
So it's late clock, and Quick should probably be spaced out to the corner. But if they're going to put 2 on the ball and you can't beat him, maybe it's a retreat dribble, maybe it's just a lefty hook pass or a pocket pass, because then you're playing 3-on-2 over here.
You got an advantage. He can shoot it or pass it to KVJ in the corner, or even probably get Khalil on the line. Doesn't know, but that's right. You got to give it back to Nick. Try to give him an advantage.
And I know he's more of a runner, dunker, but
he can knock that down.
Yeah, for sure. And again, just continuing to become more comfortable playmaking with one hand going left. I think that's what some of the best guards do. Like Trae Young is really good at that.
Really
John Morant. Who do you think are some of the best? So we talked about scorers. Who are some of the best pick and roll passers?
You said Trae Young. He's really good at it. John Morant, of course. Chris Paul. Who else could I say? I feel like David Lillard is an underrated passer. I mean, people probably just see the step back score, but I feel like he's a pretty good passer as well.
And you once told me you watched a lot of Steve Nash.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's retired now, but yeah, he was really good passing just because you see the little floaters, the little runners I do, and just a little pocket passes, trying to implement that to my game as well.
And here you do a great job of exactly what you struggled with a little on the last play. Right. You're going to reject it, but they're going to put 2 on the ball. You do a great job of handling that big, and then you hit Nick, and now you can see they're in scramble mode. Hits him with the Euro. The bench loved that, huh?
Right. Yeah, that was amazing. He played really well that game.
Yeah, he did.
Really well.
And then, again, he kind of slips this, but you've shown that when you get downhill, these lobs, you do a really good job there. So, I would say keep that up. And then a couple last possessions here, getting downhill, going left. Anything you see here in particular?
Right now, I could probably kick it.
Yeah, I think you have a few different options here, right? Maybe it's one retreat dribble, re-attack.
Right.
Maybe it's a keep coming downhill and just a quick kick. Depending on what Petty does, maybe it's a hook.
Hook back to Nick.
But eventually you get downhill and you draw the defender. Was this miscommunication or just?
Yeah, I probably should just threw the lob to him because it's easier for him to catch the lobs, and I kind of threw it out a little bit far out in front of him. Me and my dad was talking about this play last night.
What did he say?
He said I probably should just threw the lob, or that's a very, very hard pass for him to catch. So that was on me.
And I think all those, you're seeing it, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just executing it in the right way. And so nothing really happens here, but I want to get your take on like the natural progression. So, because this is kind of a basic pick and roll set. What are you thinking as you're coming off? Take this out of the equation.
Okay, right now I got to figure out who's going to tag him. So if he tags early, then I'm trying to whip it back to your man quickly. Yeah. And if he tags late, I whip it back there. But if nobody tags, try to hit Nick or see what happens for myself. Yeah,
exactly. So you get it. You got the answers to the test. I mean, that's it when you're coming downhill. And so much of it is about, like I said, changing speeds, changing pace, giving him time to roll.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you still have the ball. So it's either a pocket pass or if he gets to this tag man, like you said, quickly. And then the best passers in the NBA are the ones who can hit that weak side corner.
Facts.
And, again, I think that'll continue becoming more and more part of your game. You can see a little bit some of it here going left. Nice little change of pace. Maybe give him another split second to draw him a little bit more. But using both sides of the floor as a playmaker, he doesn't get that off. But that's the right read, And then so we're going to jump to the defensive side, an area where I think you've been really good. How would you grade how you've been defensively so far?
I've been doing okay. I feel like I can be more disruptive on the ball and even off the ball. Coach Barbie, our defense coach, has really been on me about trying to take more chances, honestly, like off the ball, like jumping the pass lanes a little bit because he feels like I can. Because I'm so, like, solid. I don't want to give up anything. But I think I can very much improve on it. Yeah,
and from my view, I mean, you've been guarding Anthony Edwards, you've been guarding all different types of guys.
I have. I've been guarding a lot of different. I mean, it's great. I mean, I don't really complain. And then we can go big, really big sometimes. And I'm guarding, a small guy. And then we can go with the 3-guard lineup, which I think I'm probably maybe slightly the tallest of that lineup. And then I could be guarding a 6'7" kid. So, I mean, I just try to do what's best for the team, honestly.
Yeah, it's a great experience for you. And, I mean, most of this is positive because I think you've been really good on this end of the floor. And I just want to point this out because for young people watching at home, like, this is a 40-point game with 2.5 minutes left. You miss a shot. But I love how you still sprint back, get in front of the ball, square them up, and play like this is an important game. You know what I mean? That type of energy is infectious. Sure, you could have made it a little bit tougher on him at the rim here, but sprinting back, getting in front of the ball, that's important stuff. And then here, just your activity. Active feet, active hands. You're directing him in pick and roll, which is good. That makes it much easier on Nick. He gets off the ball, and you've been guarding these little point guards, a little bit too.
Fast.
But you do a nice job of giving yourself enough room to still keep him in front. Active feet, great contest. That's really good defense. There are times when maybe you're a little over-aggressive.
Open up.
What do you remember about this?
So, honestly, right here, I thought the ball screen was coming, but still, I opened my hips up way too much to give him a direct line drive.
And then maybe a little bit of reach, and he gets downhill. He's too explosive. He's too physical. Can't give him that. And then, again, here, love the activity. I mean, love the energy. The ball pressure. You remember this? Well, he caught you napping a little bit.
Yeah, he got me. Because I was supposed to push up and force him to that screen. I kind of looked at the screen. He's a crafty guard, so he got me real good on this one. Coach Cal He talks to me about this.
Yeah, and vets are going to get you with that.
Right.
You know, they have all the tricks.
Right.
When you're a rookie in the NBA, I mean, they're going to be coming after you.
Right.
So you're worried about the screen, get a little bit handsy, and that's been one thing. Maybe a little bit too physical at times. Honestly, like I remember the Utah game. You were guarding the post. You picked up your third or fourth foul late. And,
Reaching.
Yep, reaching.
Reaching.
And you had him contained. You remember this?
Yes, not the jump.
Yep. Got you. Crafty play.
Yep.
But yeah, maybe just being a little bit more disciplined. You know what I mean? But I do think you do a good job of, like you talked about, maybe giving a little bit too much of an angle. But you do a good job of directing guys. Like sometimes if you're just too straight up, like it's a lot easier to get downhill against you. And then what do you remember about this play?
Well, right here, I tried to cut him off, and I really flopped. I thought
It was
I
a flop?
I thought I was going to get the push off.
Yeah.
But I should have stayed on my feet and just tried to cut him off and turn him. I did a good job of turning him, and then just tried to stay active and contest the shot.
Yeah, because if you don't flop, I think this is pretty good defense. Like, you're forcing him to his left. You do a great job of staying with him. What's the key to, like, getting out of your break so quickly there? Because some people are teaching slides, some people turn and run.
Sometimes I just try to open up the foot that's on the outside. So whatever foot my lead foot, I just try to explode off that foot right here. I tried to run and try to cut him off so I can turn him, which I think I did. And then he gonna bump me a little bit, and I thought I was gonna get the offensive foul.
That's a tough look right there.
Yeah, it is.
But, I mean, pretty good defense on the first slide. I think if you don't flop and take it in the chest, you're probably good there. How do you think you've been guarding ball screens?
I've been doing okay. I've been doing better as of late. Early in the year is different. The way we did it here in my high school. So here we got to push up and force to the ball screen and try to fight over. So I've been trying to get better at that.
Yeah, I think you've done a pretty good job. I mean, you're physical. You don't die on screens. And here you recover well. You keep the ball in front here. And what I love that you've been doing is contesting. Like, whether it's on the perimeter, whether it's inside, like, that's a tough shot. With the left hand, 6'7" wingspan, right?
Coach always preach, leave your feet when they leave their feet, and always contest. Doesn't matter if you're late, early, just got to leave your feet when they leave your feet. Like the other time, I left my foot too early on the kid from Louisville, and then he got a foul on me. So I just wait till they leave, try to wait till they leave their feet, and then I leave my feet. But
it's rare to find a clip where, I watch like every defensive possession you guys have, and it's rare to find a clip where you don't contest. And that's been impressive to see. Here, another situation, like that's really tough. You know, great timing, great technique with the left hand there. So you do a great job contesting on the perimeter, but I do think you can use that 6'7" wingspan to be a little bit more disruptive on the ball. Get some more deflections, get that steal rate up. Here you can see, like, if you have active hands and you're really pressuring the ball, they shouldn't be able to make that pass right over the top of you. Here again, against Anthony Edwards, just have those hands moving, low, high, really be disruptive on the ball, and he's not going to be able to make those type of passes. And then lastly, in pick and roll, I think you can do a little bit better job of taking away some of these rear view passes. Obviously, the big is not in great position here. That weak side defender not in position either, but he shouldn't be able to make these type of passes, and this has been a theme at times throughout the season. So while you have great energy in a lot of areas, I do think you can be a little bit more disruptive on the ball at times. Lastly, you've shown you can guard bigger guys too. How many positions do you think you can guard in the NBA?
I feel like I can guard at least 1 through 3, especially because I feel like I'm just active and I feel like I have a competitive spirit. And if that's what they need me to do, go guard the best player, and that's what I'm going to try to go do.
Yeah, for sure. And here, Didi's a big, strong kid, and he can't really move you, you know, and another great contest. Just really good defense that we've seen at the high school level and then before. And then you broke this out last game, a little bit of verticality at the rim.
Oh, yeah.
Where's this come from?
We do a drill here.
Yeah?
Called the chest drill. So we have like 3 guys around, and they dribble into us, and we just have to stay vertical and not trying to block the shot, but just stay vertical. It makes it hard to make this shot.
And that's great defense. You've done it on the ball. You've done it off the ball as well. I think here you're guarding Wheeler, not much of a shooter, so you say, okay, I'm just going to be at the rim. I'm going to help. That's perfect technique. That's better technique than a lot of bigs, honestly. And you know, I think you had 4 blocks that game. So impressive. And then off the ball, I think your activity's been pretty good. Your steal rate, like you're not getting a lot of steals, which analytics models would say that's a big indicator of feel for the game. But again, though, I think your activity has been really good. Here, where are you off the ball? Okay, so here, this is a closeout situation.
Tag.
Yep, you're in position on the tag, but then you read his eyes early. And picture perfect. High hand. You get him off his spot. I don't know if he's a shooter or not.
Yeah, he was a shooter. Had to run him off.
Yeah, so you run him off. So the best closeout is if you can get the shooter off, but then still contain.
Right.
And you do a great job of that here. Make it a really tough shot. That's big-time defense. Then is that fake hustle or no?
No, I was trying to get the ball. I had to make sure I got that one because I was supposed to get it before it hit the ground and got the moving. I was just make sure I got it.
And what happened here? You remember this?
I think we may switch. Is that Ashton? Yeah, it's Ashton, so we'll probably switch.
So Ashton communicates the switch. You're on Kyra Lewis, and you're denying everything. And then Reese gets ripped. That's a turnover. I think you've done a really good job getting up in the passing lanes. Maybe you're not, gambling a ton or getting a ton of steals, but, that's disruptive to me. You're up in them, and then you see where they're starting their offense with 8 seconds. That makes it really difficult. And, again, active feet, active hands. Here you're digging at the ball. A little bluff and recover, stunt and recover. He kills his dribble, then he's dead in the water. One thing is maybe overhelping.
Overhelp. He's a shooter too. So and this is basically a no corner help because there's nobody else on that side. So I overhelped. I lost my vision of him, and I think he's gonna hit 3 right here. And
he does. And where's Coach Cal? You can see Coach Cal's reaction. Not having it.
No, he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy.
But yeah, again, I think your energy's been good. It's about picking your spots and maybe not being too overly aggressive. But you've also added value on the glass. Also, have you always been a good rebounder?
As of late, probably since my junior year, I realized that rebounding is a key to winning. So I figured, as many rebounds I can go get, that limits their chance of shooting.
And yeah, you've done it from really. Sometimes you'll crash from the perimeter. Sometimes you'll go mix it up, find a body. Go hit somebody. This is really impressive late in the Michigan State game. You're aware. You go get it. That's big time stuff. And then I think you get stuck here. Okay, no help there. Pretty much a wide open drive, but you do a great job of getting inside that big and just tapping the ball out, and the play's not over. So it's been cool to watch your development over the last few years. And Tyrese, I appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate
Good luck
you.
the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.